It could be said that the education that we have today has been inspired by yesterday's children. James Bevel, a director within the Southern Christian Leadership Conference found in Atlanta, Georgia, January 10, 1957, thought it was a good idea to encourage students to become demonstrators in the Birmingham campaign to protest inequality. On May 2, 1963, despite parents, teachers, and friends' cautioned advice not to, more than 1,000 students skipped school and began their march, only to be met by the local law enforcement, who did not treat them fairly. The church organizers called it D-Day, but it was later known as the Children's Crusade. The Children's Crusade helped inspire an iconic speech given later that summer.
Because I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
As well as John F. Kennedy to continue his efforts to enact his civil rights law.
Will stop and examine his conscience about this and other related incidents. This nation was founded by men of many nations and backgrounds. It was founded on the principle that all men are created equal, and that the rights of every man are diminished when the rights of one man are threatened. Today we are committed to a worldwide struggle to promote and protect the rights of all who wish to be free.
Lyndon B. Johnson, after a year of congressional delay tactics, successfully enacted on July 2, 1964, what Kennedy started, the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Still, other efforts were needed. It took the 1966 United States versus Jefferson County Board of Education and many other following acts to enforce school desegregation. It would be several years of busing and surprisingly more efforts in the North than in the South during the 70s and 80s before classroom, as well as post-secondary education desegregation came closer to an end. I was in grade school in the 70s and in high school in the 80s, and there were only 2 African Americans in my class, Troy Booker and Angela Hall. Sometime during high school, Troy relocated. I remember Angela crying a lot during grade school. But she persevered through and received vocational recognition for childcare when she graduated from high school. More reforms were needed, and LBJ continued his war on poverty to create a great society. On April 11, 1965, he enacted the Elementary and Secondary Education Act. The ESEA was designed to distribute funding to schools in their districts with a higher percentage of low-income families, and to provide federal grants for text and library books, special education centers, and scholarships for low-income college students. ESEA would be modified with each reauthorization, such as the Education Consolidation and Improvement Act in 1981, the Improving America's School Act in 1994, and the No Child Left Behind Law of 2002. LBJ had more lasting effects on education, which sprung from the Economic Opportunity Act of 1964. The Head Start program, in 1965, started as an 8-week summer program. This program was designed by Dr. Robert Cook of Johns Hopkins University and Dr. Edward Ziegler of Yale University for preschool children of low-income families. Head Start's goal was to help break the cycle of poverty, providing preschool children of low-income families with a comprehensive program to meet their emotional, social, health, nutritional, and psychological needs. When LBJ introduced the Head Start program May 18, 1965, he said, "Today we are able to announce that we will have open, and we believe operating this summer, coast to coast, some 2,000 child development centers serving as many as possibly 500,000 children. This means that nearly half the preschool children of poverty will get a head start in their future. These children will receive preschool training to prepare them for regular school in September." It ultimately served over 560,000 children across the United States of America in its first summer. In 1977, my mom became a single parent. An employed woman in the 70s did not mean there was money in the bank. There was no budget for a daycare or a babysitter. I was already in first grade, which meant a full day of adult supervision and a meal. Head Start was the best opportunity for my sister. I remember visiting a day of Head Start and seeing my sister involved in educational activities that she would not have experienced otherwise. What else came out of the Economic Opportunity Act of 1964? Upward Bound. Students of UP are high school students from low-income families, which neither parent holds a bachelor degree. UP's goal is to simply support students to get into and be prepared for college.
Every year students come from all over Maine, they live in dormitories, they go through the trials and tribulations of living away from home and taking coursework and really beginning to envision themselves as college students. describe it as it's transformative. I really feel like students describe themselves this way. At the end of the summer when we have a narrative evaluation and they tell us both how they did and what the experience meant to them, inevitably it's in terms of, well, when I came here I was this, and when I left I was more like this.
So LBJ had a great influence in education during his war on poverty to create the Great Society. But we cannot forget the original educational reformer, Horace Mann. He served in Massachusetts State Senate, where he and others worked to improve the state of the state. One result was creating the first Board of Education in 1837, and Mann was appointed as its first secretary. He believed that education should be paid for, controlled, and maintained by the public. He also believed that schools should be open for children of all backgrounds, and that education should be taught by well-trained professional teachers. He considered education to be the answer to end poverty, that education would instill creativity and innovation within these young minds in the future. Simply, I am a product from the benefits of these many reforms. These reforms gave my sister a better opportunity to learn because of Head Start. These reforms provided the free and reduced lunch programs to make sure my sister, myself, and many other kids in our neighborhood would have a healthy lifestyle while learning. These reforms supported Upward Bound, which I am sure inspired my pursuit of a college education. There are a lot of bright and intelligent kids in this world, and all of them with the promising potential to embrace and enhance this world for us, and more importantly them. Luckily, they will have access to education because of the many efforts from government to ensure that opportunity. I simply would like to be part of that opportunity to see that these kids make the best first step.